Have you ever wondered who would win in a fight between a boxer and a wrestler? Well, in Tekken 8, we can answer these questions, and I'm about to do that for you today. In Pakistan, they just ran a huge tournament, the BAAZ Gauntlet Invitational. The top 8 just finished today, and yesterday there was the group stage, or the Swiss stage. So I'm about to show the brackets and things like that, so if you're concerned about spoilers, now would be a time to click away. Brackets going up now. So this was the group stage of the tournament, what happened yesterday. And as you can see, there were many heavy hitters here. Ni, Lohai, Dawood, Sikandar, Khan, many like world-class... I mean, everybody here is world-class, okay? I'm not excluding anybody on purpose. Everybody here is world-class, but many did not make it to the top 8. Instead, you see many Pakistanis who have been dominating Tekken 8 who did make it to the top 8. Pakistanis who've been dominating tournaments who made it to the top 8, with Joka from the UK being the lone international player. What I have for you today is a match between the John, who was a Marduk player in Tekken 7 and is now a King player, and Numan Chowdhury, arguably the #1 Pakistani player right now, who is winning tons of tournaments, with Steve, who is known to be a weaker character compared to his past iterations. So in Tekken 8, Steve is considered much weaker, and King is considered much stronger, benefiting from system changes like grabs being extremely powerful, counter hit grabs being extremely powerful, and in general just receiving a lot of buffs. So I'm going to analyze the match. If you want to skip a bunch of the pre-match analysis, feel free to jump to the timestamp. But I want to cover what this matchup looks like and what we can expect out of both players, right? Why is this match so interesting in the first place? So we've talked about Numan a bunch on this channel. Steve is a good place to start. It's a bit simpler. There's a lot less to cover, even though he might seem complicated at earlier levels. Counter hits are his best reward. Back 1, 1-2-1, and down forward 2 all have different levels of coverage and reward depending on the risk he's taking, right? So back 1 is his famous quick hook, 13 frame counter hit high, safe, very hard to get around as a Tekken player. If you're fighting against Steve, you have to use all of your small fast moves or you're at risk of getting back 1'd. It's a high though, so you can go underneath it, which we'll see the John leverage. 1-2-1 is Steve's like 3-hit punch string. It has a 4th hit extension, but the first 3 hits are guaranteed on counter hit. So it's his fastest counter hit option. It has a lot of control. Again, it makes it hard to do big moves against Steve. But both of these are highs. So if you're trying to go underneath it, he has down forward 2, which is a no longer homing mid counter hit option. It also doesn't lead to a combo, but it does do a chunk of damage and gives him advantage. So down forward 2 is less good than it used to be, but it's still a very important move. Now, while those moves are less effective in this game for a few reasons, which I'll talk about, he has a lot of good delayed options that are still very powerful. So Flicker 2 is a slower counter hit option, but it's another safe mid. So he can use this if somebody does a sidestep button, a backdash button, or forward dash button, right? Any kind of delay makes this really good. Outfox is a big backstep that can bait a lot of whiffs. It did get nerfed a little bit in the latest patch. It's harder to use, but it's still an extremely powerful option that Numan loves to use. And finally, down back 1+2 is a big charged armor move, which seems kind of troll at first because it's so slow, but it's used often as a read against somebody who's, again, delaying their options, doing a sidestep button on prediction, backdash button on prediction, or delaying any kind of delay, or a big slow move. The thing with Steve is, because he has all these strong counter hit and whiff punish options, whiff punishing with Sonic Fang, he has weak and risky pokes. The biggest one is that his QCF2, the big like ducking low punch, is launch punishable. So Steve doesn't prefer to attack as much. He would rather just find his counter hit. So what is Steve's game plan? How does he make this work? Use poke strings and offensive movement like forward dashes to bait keep out attacks and interrupts. Right, so Steve has to get some damage on you. He has some string mix-ups that give him plus frames or are just really, really fast, depending if he's using Peekaboo or Flicker. But the idea is to get your opponent to try to fight back and try to interrupt you, and that sets up your counter hits. You can also use defensive movement and armor, right? So like sidestepping their moves, backdashing their moves, and armoring their moves to force them to delay their timing. If you keep sidestepping out of the way, they have to run into you, wait, and then realign. That delay makes it easier for Steve to find a counter hit. And as a Steve player, if they refuse to get counter hit, then you just have to poke them a bunch and whiff punish. There's not a lot you could do outside of countering these options. Steve can also use throws. I should probably mention that. Like throws are a good pressure tool as well. So I'll do poke strings, throws, and offensive movement, right? You just have to stay on this, and if they're not going to get counter hit, you just keep doing it and build up damage. But now let's talk about King. Now, King is a divisive character. There are people who love King, they love watching him, they love playing him, and there are victims who hate King. I'm not here to pick a side, even though I do have a side. I'm here to talk about how King functions, okay? So King's game plan. And the very first thing I think that's important to mention about King in this game is he's hard to hit. He has incredible armor moves in this game. Back 3 and up forward 3+4. They're extremely fast. And the ability to punish them is very low. So like you only get a 10 frame punish on back 3 and you get a 12 frame punish on up forward 3+4. Down back 1+2 is the scariest one. It's a new one. He does a shout and flexes. And that's it. If you hit his armor, he could do a retaliation heat engage, or he could just do nothing. So he has like basically, it's not invulnerability, but it's effectively a moment of time where attacking him is suicide. He also has insane evasion. His Jaguar step is a big backward step that jumps over lows, and he can whiff punish with a guaranteed attack. Well, not a guaranteed attack. It's a built-in attack that heat engages. His single backdash in this game is also really slept on. You'll see moments in this game where that really matters. And then finally, he has attacks that have built-in evasion. So forward, neutral 2, ducks under highs, counter hit, has a counter hit knockdown property with huge damage. His Atlas Hammer ducks under highs, and his alley kick, which is a risky poke because it's launch punishable, is also a big evasive move. So if you just do one, it's actually really strong. And that hard to hit property is related to how Steve plays his entire game, right? Baiting, keep out, and retaliation. So because King is hard to, or sorry, not in this case. It's the defensive movement. You have to force delayed timings against King if you don't want to run into these, right? If you delay your timings, he has counter hit options. Down forward 2-1 is a safe mid-high string that is a counter hit launcher. It's counter hit confirmable. So all the best King players in the world are reacting to the counter hit and then finishing the string. So you can't even duck it if they just do the first hit. Forward neutral 2 we talked about, or sorry, forward neutral 1+2 is his safe shove. It's ridiculously fast and it guarantees a forward 2-1. On top of that, you also have his forward neutral 2, but I think it functions a bit differently in this game. Instead, he has his counter hit throws to supplement the rest of the game. His giant swing can come out in 10 frames. His instant shining wizard can come out in 10 frames. So you are dealing with throws that are homing, harder to break on counter hit, and give colossal reward, and are visually ambiguous between each other. So, safe to say this character is ridiculous. But say you are able to hit him. You're able to get, or say you refuse to die to his counter hit timings, right? Maybe he's a bit hard to hit, but you can find your pokes, but you chill out and force yourself to not get counter hit. Well, the thing about King is he can still pressure you if you're blocking. So we can do partial strings with one hit that have an extension, and while you're waiting for the extension, he takes advantage of that hesitation from you and does a grab that's ambiguous, so you have to guess. He has big punishment frames that guarantee grab attempts, right? So yes, you can always hard duck the grab, but he has ways to counter that as well. So if you want to play a low risk, consistent defense against King, you don't have many sidestep options, you don't have the ability to just block, you will always have to guess a throw. You have to make a hard read by ducking at some point, or be really good at breaking throws that are truly ambiguous. He can also just grab you in the neutral while you're blocking. Forget punishment, forget partial strings, he can just run up and grab you, right? If he reads that you're blocking. Forward neutral 2 is really good against not only defenders, because it's a low, but it also beats keep out jabs, right? Or any other high. Remember how Steve loves doing back 1 and 1-2-1 as highs? Forward neutral 2 counters both of those. Finally, if you're trying to just sidestep and do things, well, his throws are homing, and forward +1 is homing. On top of all that, once he hits you once with the throw, he steamrolls you. His wake-up game is devastating. It's almost impossible to pick a safe, consistent option to get up against King. He has ground throws. He can trap you if you wake up immediately. It's disgusting. That's long enough. Welcome back, timestamp jumpers. Let's get into the match. King versus Steve. The John versus Numan Chowdhury. Fascinating part about this tournament is that it's all first to 3, so you get a lot of gameplay. Elegant Palace, strange Sonic Fang from Steve there, probably a mistake, and then he goes for the armor move right away, trying to catch any kind of forward dash or delayed button from the John. But you see the John is just hitting him over and over with forward 1, and that is the King shout armor beating Steve's armor. I think King's in this case is literally a superior move. right? Or sorry, he didn't beat armor, he beat the up back too. The reason why this is a superior move is because King can choose to do the extension or not on reaction. When Steve does his armor charge up move, it has to come out at a specific timing. Very, very fast round from the John. Completely steamrolling Numan. Let's see how Numan adjusts. Numan doesn't seem scared at all. He's still playing forward dashes here, right? Down forward 2 is blocked. Forward dash, and then he tries to flicker 2. That's that delayed counter hit attempt. To beat that, the John just starts playing a bunch of 1-2s and jabs. Down forward 2 is counter hit, but he wasn't ready for the confirm. Forward neutral 2, beautiful sidestep from Steve. That's one important thing is the forward neutral 2, even though it's powerful, can be sidestepped. All right, so Numan has to slow down his offense because the John is playing this armor move. But on top of that, if the John were to land a giant swing here, it'd be devastating because it would hit the wall. Wall pressure comes in. Really hard to beat. So Numan slows down, plays a few pokes, breaks the giant swing. That was really, really good. And he's doing a bunch of outfox in case the John whiffs. This big back step, right? What's fascinating here is the John tries to attack right after the heat burst. We think he ran in and tried to do a throw. But Numan gets a slightly weird combo because he wasn't ready, but burns his heat to guarantee the kill. So that was pretty sick. 1-2-1 coming in again. 1-2-1 is again that fast counter hitting option, forcing King to slow down. King tried to do a high crush even, the down back 3, and he got hit by Steve before it could come out. Numan again slowing down to avoid running into armor. His armor attempt is blocked and punished. That slow armor is honestly scary against King because if he just does a grab, he gets hit. This is a nasty situation. Plus frames into fully ambiguous throw. 1 or 2 break, you have to guess. This extension is a rock, paper, scissors between 1-2 and 1+2. Most pro players will be breaking 1+2 after this heel hold because the super high damage option is covered by 1+2. So they would rather preserve their HP to make more reads than try to perfectly break the throw, right? It's a nasty RPS. And most King players who are good will take advantage of that and just pick the less damage options. The lesser damaging options, I should say. Sonic Fang is blocked and punished. One jab interrupts the heat burst, right? So off of this frame advantage from the King, one jab is faster than even an armor attempt. King heat bursts the back 1 back. Playing it a bit slow. High crush there. Steve finally gets his heat burst off, but doesn't have a lot of HP. He can't survive one quick alley kick. Unreactable low. It's so fast, and it would go under back 1 or 1-2-1. So very, very well played by the John. Pretty clean King gameplay. One jab. Tries to just rip the string. Numan unfortunately does not get a big punish there. Here's a punish. What's next? A throw. That was an attempted Shining Wizard, I believe. And it just came out a bit too slow. Didn't get his running input. There's the armor, but he cancels it. This is the power of this move, man. Look at this. He does the armor, but he believes that he's not going to be able to do the retaliation in time. So instead of ripping the second hit and losing his advantage, he plays a forward neutral 2. Pressuring with more lows. Incredible poking game right here. Forward neutral 2, reads a block, does it again, reads a mash or a sidestep, does the tracking fast mid with the frame advantage, goes underneath again in case Numan were to do a high. So it's low, low, tracking fast mid, low underneath the back 1. He had the right read. So King's poking game is outstripping Steve's here. Not only does it have the threatening counter hits, not only are his pokes safer, forward neutral 2 is only minus 13 or 14. It's not minus 15, which is the key point. It's not launchable. Steve's equivalent poke here is minus 18, the QCF2. So King is eating good, to say the least. Forward dashes again from Numan, trying to bait retaliation, and when the King doesn't retaliate, he goes for the low, right? Big low that would go under King's retaliation attempts if he were to do a fast poke. And unfortunately, Steve gets clipped by the John's Rage Art here. Or not Rage Art. This is a Heat Smash. King's Heat Smash is disgustingly fast, has incredible tracking. Only a few characters can step it, which is it's a really, really scary move. And the fact that he gets a mix-up after with the Jaguar Sprint is even more scary. Thanks to chat, we can confirm that King's forward neutral 2 is minus 13. It's buffed from Tekken 7. So in Tekken 7, it used to be launch. They made it minus 14. And then in Tekken 8, they made it minus 13. Now the next stage, we're on Into the Stratosphere. Exploding floor. King has a huge edge here as well because so many of his throws guarantee the floor break. The Heat Smash guarantees the floor break. So King not only gets huge damage, he can extend his combos. All right, runs into the armor, but this is what the John was looking for before. Sometimes Steve can cancel his moves with a stance. So even though the armor went off, Steve can block. It was very clutch. Numan had to do a bunch of inputs here. Down forward 2 into hold forward, or forward 3 to get the duck. Right? That's how he does this input. Down back to cancel the duck, and then stand block to avoid getting hit by the mid. So a lot of really fast APM inputs. You can see Numan try to parry here just to try to steal pressure back, but no luck because forward 1 is so slow. Quick duck under the throw. Guard break attempt. Just building up pressure. A lot of unsafe moves from Steve. High risk. Like if he gets ducked, he dies. But Numan is a player who's willing to take these risks to force you to run into his counter hits later. So you can see here, he's taking a lot of risks, right? While standing 2-2 with a bit of delay just to try and catch you. If this is blocked, you can armor through almost all of his options after. Finishes the string, or tries to, gets interrupted. Sprints in to do QCF1. So Numan is not doing a lot of blocking necessarily. He just is very insistent on trying to get you to respond to him. And once you respond to him, he can make a read. Unfortunately here, no throw break. Tries to throw again. Nice duck from Numan. Look at this again. King runs in and sprints. This is horrifying, by the way. This is high-level King stuff. So after this throw hits, he does a crouch dash, right? And then he runs at you. This could have been a running giant swing or a running shining wizard. And there's no way to tell. The throws look the same. Going for a duck here is the only guaranteed way to get out of that situation. He gets a quick punish and he gets the follow-up. Very, very well played from Numan. Good read. A hop kick would have ended his life. And that's what makes fighting King so scary. You're forced into these rock, paper, scissors situations. King's jab recovered faster than Steve's flicker back 2 could armor through. That's tough for the Steve, but honestly is how most jabs interact with it, so nothing unusual. And there it finally pays off. This armored shout once again. Jab down forward 2, back dash. In case the Steve decides to pressure, he goes for armor, which the Steve did. Heat engage. Heals up all the damage he just armored through, and now King has access to the horrifying armored Jaguar sprint. That might be why Numan is trying to do more throws. Tries to string pressure after this grab is broken. Back 1 gets armored through. It's a mix-up. Nice duck. Down jab into the heat smash. Fuzzy duck from the John. King players love doing this nonsense, bro. They love doing quick ducks after doing a safe mid and trying to wall splat you. Alright, Numan burns his heat just to apply more pressure, but that's a bit of an ugly situation. King has a lot of priority here. Down forward 2-1 counter hit, and there it is. Full combo off of a 13-frame safe mid. Does require a bit of execution to get the confirm, but most King players are confirming that. So that's something that King players of all levels should probably try to practice, right? Look at how effective that was, right? Steve finally tried to poke low. He's pressuring. Plus frames, down forward 2. Plus frames again. And he just interrupts. Steve tried to do a mix-up to try to get more damage, and he almost died for it. It was a good combo from the John, for sure. And then that was just a last hit situation. Forward neutral 2 should kill here. Throw is broken. Down forward 1, single down forward 1 kills, right? It was a counter hit, but very, very tough situation to play after. King gets so much damage that his pokes really add up, right? 1-2 punish, forward 1. Wow! The chest flop dodged Steve's delayed armor. That is... And so Steve has to hold the damage still unless he gets a heat engage shield. That is dirty stuff right here. Look at the King. He does the armored flex again. And then reading that the opponent will run in to try to pressure the inaction, he goes for a grab. But Numan did an outfox and gets a little whiff punish there, which is very nice. He tried it again. More flexing. Some strings from Steve. Look at that. Nice little alternate mid timing here. Goes for extended duck. Nice break on the throw. This is nasty again. The John doing some high execution stuff here. Forward neutral 2. He has plus frames. He can pressure with a grab. He runs in and somehow does a giant swing out of running. I believe what he does, and a King player can correct me here, is out of this, he does the giant swing input now. And then King will run forward. He presses down forward. That's my understanding of the tech. And that will allow him to do the final hit of the throw. The final hit of the throw. That'll allow him to do the throw out of the run. Say that more properly. Heat burst from King. Heat smash is on the table. 1-2-1. Nice counter hit. One hit to kill. Heat smash. Mid. Steve does not respond. Very, very smart. Play it slow. Reset to neutral. Find an attack timing that'll work. That was a really good poke. So now the John might be more incentivized to play keep out, which will give Numan the opportunity to find a counter hit. He tried to read the high jab. That's unfortunate that he was late on his launch punish. Now King gets a punish. Throw pressure coming in. He mashes out of that pressure. Very, very nice. 2-1. 1-2. Counter hit. There was no counter hit there. Both the John and I were deceived. It looked like it was a counter hit, but it wasn't. Counter hit throw broken by Numan. That's incredible. Okay, poke low to get around the armor. Throws will also beat that armor move, but it is kind of a hard read. Step on his feet. Guard break. Guard break there for your life is so risky. This is such a high risk, and that's probably why the John didn't duck, right? If the John ducks this, he gets a full launch into floor explosion into probably 1 or 2 more hits on wake up. So thinking that, he's like, Numan would never go for the high, and he did. Numan Steve is so good because he's willing to play with his life, but now the hop kick kills. And that was a counter hit hop kick, mind you, hop knee. After this, Numan is expecting the John to hesitate because there's a last hit, but the John does not hesitate. Once again, he's like, Numan's not going to finish this. So he just does the hop knee, and Numan gets counter hit. Floor exploding throw, huge damage. He still has tornado and heat. Maximizing the combo. This wall is a bit awkward. We don't know where the wall is. Well, apparently he does. Heat dash. Armored move into free mix-up. Oh my goodness. He had to guess for his life. Doing this armor move, he gets a free Jaguar sprint. He's expecting Steve to wake up and block, right? There's a sliding low. There's a knockdown mid. And here he goes for the unbreakable throw high, which would kill. Numan wakes up ducking and immediately punishes. So great reads on both ends. Very high-speed gameplay. 1-1. I've been analyzing this video for 21 minutes, and it's only 1-1. There's a lot going on here. Even though King's gameplay is relatively simple, there's a lot of decisions going back and forth and reads being made. Atlas Hammer attempted. Steve doesn't get a launch punish. Well, he can get a launch punish. If Numan's super ready for this, he could do peekaboo instantly into up forward 2, the Shoryuken. But most people are not expecting that, which is why he only gets a Sonic Fang. Tournaments and nerves are very, very real, even at the top level. Tons of strings. The Swindler hits, right? This is really cool. So Steve has a back 1, and if he mashes 1 and 2 after, instead of doing the second hit high, he does a mid extension. So you can see that the John actually fuzzy ducked here. Atlas Hammer minus 21, thank you. So he even has more time to do that Shoryuken. So King does a fuzzy duck here, right? Quick little frame of ducking right there. And then he tries to launch the high or retaliate, right? But Steve's mid counter hits him. It could have been a 2-1 punish. It could have been a while standing 2-2. Either way, the Swindler hits. Clinch grab is broken. That's a true 50-50. Nice extended duck under the throw. I wonder if that was an intentional read. He ducks in, extends the duck to dodge the throw, and gets this free knockdown. Running 2 follow-up. 1 quick poke. Another quick down jab. 1-1-2 blocked. Down forward 2 fishing. Nice whiff punish on the back 1. Look at this steamroll. This is the Okazemi steamroll. 4-4 neutral 2. Nice. Numan finds a good block, but that could have been ugly in so many ways, right? What if that were a hop knee? What if it were a crouch throw? But Numan is ahead of the game, and it looks like. He's in the John's head. Armor move again, but he just switches to a poke, thinking that he can't punish after the Albatross 2. Right? So he switches to the forward 4 neutral 2. Ducking the back 1. Very nice timing, but no punish. String extension. Okay, so now Numan might be thinking about that next time. Wow, a series of strong reads from the King. 1-2-1 finishing, right? So Numan mashed. He read that, or tried to move or something. 2-1 to counter hit. Just play frame tight. Then off of these frames, just do a throw. So if he swung again, he would have gotten parried. But now the parry actually makes the throw unbreakable. Running 2. Some more pokes from Numan. Throw attempt, broken. Down forward 2 counter hit. Okay, blocks the heat smash. Very good defense. Forward dash, forward dash. Uh-oh. Finally baited a reaction. Numan plays so much mashing and so much aggression that the forward movement becomes scary. So the John thought he was catching him with the rage art, but no luck. Counter hit here. Good side roll. And then he plays his frame. This is very, very ballsy, but very, very effective. This get up kick is like +8, so he just runs a Sonic Fang immediately, and it blows through the armor attempt. Clinch grab. Can't guess 50-50 right every time. Whoa, fascinating option here. So you can do a Sonic Fang here to guarantee a heat dash. You can also do peekaboo forward 1+2 to get a knockdown or a wall splat. Numan plays it safe and just does 2-2. Guaranteed damage, still has his heat to play with. So he clearly values still having the heat meter. He blew his heat meter now. That was a launch attempt, which is fine. Swindler attempted again. Forward dash, but nothing. So the armor does not pay off. And this is another tough situation. I mentioned before that this is better than Steve's, because when Steve tries his delayed armor move, he's forced to do the punch, right? King is not forced to do the punch. So they just forward dash into each other and then do nothing. King actually tries to duck the jab, which is incredible. Down forward 1. Nice block punish. Instant grab attempt. Beautiful break from Numan. This is the nastiest stuff King players can do. They eat a punish. They're at minus. In the stun, they buffer the giant swing input. So Numan being able to break this is a great reaction. Down forward 2 whiffs. That is unfortunate. Down forward 2 whiffed here. The punish was attempted. Numan tries to respond, like whiff punish this, but King finishes the string anyways and gets a counter hit launch. So multiple mash attempts and reaction attempts taken advantage of there. The John finishes the string in case Numan goes for a late whiff punish, and then the heat smash just ends his life. Down forward 2. Down forward 2. From Steve. That's confusing. They both use it. There's a counter hit Shining Wizard. Wow. He did the armor move. It whiffed, and then he tried again to just do the extension. But Numan called him out and did his move anyways. So they just trade. No follow-up, unfortunately, for Steve. Okay, some like long-range neutral. This is a hard situation to fight, right? Because Steve can't play for the wall pressure with his movement. They're basically on an infinite stage unless a combo hits. So King has all the time in the world to leverage his hard-to-hit options, the armor, the evasion. He doesn't have to force anything, and he can always get a bunch of damage with the throw right away. So it's in Steve's favor to chill out, wait out the heat, and then find all this damage. You see exactly what I mean? Like, Steve is trying to find all these opportunities to get in, blowing his heat, trying to get a clinch grab. King is just waiting. Punish, counter hit, and now it's a wake up for his life. Nice get-up kick, armor with the heat burst. He runs in, it's mix-up time. Uh-oh. No, he ducks the armor this time. So Numan was finding a bunch of damage, which was pretty impressive. Right, he challenges the sprint while standing 2-2, but no dice. A bunch of reads back and forth. That's the Pakistani gameplay. They think and play really, really fast. Albatross 2 attempted. Outfox attempted. Okay, back 1 from King. Throw is broken. That was really good for the John. The John understood that that was a whiff punish down forward 2, not a counter hit one. So he just holds it back. He doesn't throw the high and risk his life. Forward for neutral 2 blocked. Good punish. QCF 1. Right, trading like small pokes back and forth. Right, King not committing to much. Down jab. Here we go. Plus frames. King is completely chilling out here. Now look, even though he has the health disadvantage, right? He knows that Numan wants to play aggressive in order to force retaliation. So King is just chilling, not trying to challenge the heat. Not trying to whiff into the Sonic Fang or the Heat Smash, right? Finds an armor right at the end of the heat gauge. He read that, okay, heat's running out. Steve is going to throw his Sonic Fang and try to heat dash. Armors through it. Free follow-up. He's healing some of the gray health too. Ground throw on a delay because King read that Steve would side roll. So he does a dash ground throw. Now he wakes up immediately. He wakes up immediately and gets 50-50. This combo is disgusting. Look at this combo. 3 seconds left. He just has to block. How does Steve come back in 3 seconds? He can't. Giant swing burns the rest of the clock. Absolutely incredible. So the John willing to take advantage of Steve's weakness, right? Weak and risky pokes. So if he just doesn't retaliate, waits out the heat, he can get a read on the attack timing by being hard to hit with the armor moves and the evasion. That was a really, really quick adaptation. I'm sure he's had this strategy before, but watching it in action was incredible. Already Atlas Hammer paying off. Round start. He did it before. Steve did a sidestep down forward too. So it wasn't an evasion on a high. It was a multiple coverage move. It would be to high. It would be to delayed timing. This combo is disgusting. Disgusting. I'm losing the ability to speak from how King is playing. Nice little float combo here. Albatross 2. Nice punish on the armor. Interrupting the string instead of just punishing it. Down back 2. Good reaction from the John. And there is Steve pulling off an armor move of his own. This is really, really nice, right? So what did King do? He did crouch dash into the launcher. The scary part is if King just did a grab, Steve is guaranteed to be hit, right? Instead, he gets a heat engage and heals all of that gray health. QCF1. All right, Steve blowing his heat right away. Oh, that is so unfortunate. I don't know what happened here. Heat dash, he plays the mid. The John did duck. And then he does a back sway. So he loses this wake-up advantage. By the time he runs up, he tries to hit a Sonic Fang that whiffs, and the heat smash is going to blow through most of his HP. Looking like a last hit situation. Last 1 or 2 hits. 1-2 jab. Down forward 1. Oh, boy. Quick down 4. Numan unfortunately losing the advantage and the John capitalizing. Armor move. Unbreakable throw. He's in heat now. He does it again. He tried it one more time. Breaks the throw. He tries to throw him in retaliation. Numan did a nice, beautiful sidestep duck here, which fast enough of a sidestep to dodge the throw. No punish, but he does get the extended string to catch the John with the second hit. Trying to throw him back. Heat burst. It's time. With this pressure, he can maybe fight back. Survives the heat smash. Survives the mid. Nice block. Punish. Heat dash. Jab. He jabbed him out of that. This back one, if he did back one, it could have cost his life. But Numan tried to poke. And the jab just counter hit him. The John playing completely slow now. There's no more threats from Steve. Uh-oh, counter hit. Wow. He sped up at the wrong time. Right? He did the forward 1. He gave up his turn, but he expected Steve to play more forward movement, maybe do a low poke that's really slow. So he mashed the back 1, right? If Steve did forward movement into attack, he would have gotten counter hit. But Numan just took his frames. Down forward 2, guaranteed. Now instead of taking his frames, he does backdash duck. Right? So instead of mashing, instead of playing his frames, he decided to play defensively and outplayed the John here, who went for a quick throw to try and catch him swinging. But Numan was very, very quick here. That was really, really cool. At the right moment, choosing to play defensive. He cycled his options very well there. Forward dash movement, once again, pressuring King without taking too much risk. King has to do a straight up hop kick or some other very, very fast move like forward neutral 2 to hope to catch that forward movement. Even then, forward neutral 2 is a bit too slow for that purpose. Have to be like a raw 2-1. Nice duck from the John. Down forward 2, fishing for those counter hits. Armor. Oh my god. Nice down jab. The John is speeding up his pokes, making it really hard for Steve to find opportunities and getting damage, winning damage on Steve. Look at Steve's health bar here. Look at how these small interactions win a lot of HP. Right? The John is suddenly in the lead. Now he's in the lead in heat. Oh, wow. Did you see what Numan did there? This is fire. Numan does a down forward 2. It gets absorbed by the Jaguar Sprint armor. He's ducking. He cancels the duck. The John is already trying to throw him. Numan could have stayed ducking. Instead, Numan instantly throws and outspeeds King's throw. That was very, very quick thinking. Probably just straight instinct. I don't think you can react and think like that. It was probably just he was expecting the Jaguar Sprint armor to keep going. Huge launch from King. How did this happen? Running 2... and then he tries to do the stomp. Down back 3-2, reacting to the whiff. The John ducks and gets a launch punish. And the reason this happens in the first place is King's single backdash. Single backdash has a lot of evasion from King. His backdash cancel is really, really bad. The single backdash is very evasive. Nice throw from Numan, reclaiming the wall position. Gets the heat smash. 1 hit again. Mid. Numan believed that the John would not finish this string and just goes for his low poke right away. And he picked the low poke that would kill. I don't think down 1 kills here. It had to be QCF2 for a 1-hit kill. Incredibly high intensity situation. Down forward 2. Forward dash. Back to his same game plan of offensive movement. Very high confidence that King is not just going to throw out a launcher, right? At low level, King would just probably throw out a hop knee and Numan would die. This is very high level stuff. Nothing is finding its mark until that QCF1 stomps on his feet. Just 1 stomp, so it's not launch punishable. QCF1. Holding his heat. Very, very nice. The Albatross 2 recovers so fast and the John knows it. so he's not ripping the second of the armor, and that lets Numan get damage even though it's armored. Forward 4 neutral 2. Grab is not broken. Here's a wake-up situation. Down 3. Ultimate tackle broken. Very nice. Back turn. That is cheap. The ultimate tackle is broken, which leads to this ambiguous situation, right? Can't tell if the king is sideways or back turned. Well, the John is a king specialist, so he knows king is back turned and just does the low. No reacting to that. 2 throw this time. One last hit. Forward 4 neutral 2. Hits grounded for some reason. Now Numan's on elimination point. Throws the back 1. This is a scary back 1. What if the John just did Atlas Hammer again? He could have died. John rips the string, trying to rob Numan. Punishes the down forward, or the up forward 2. Here we go. Steamroll starts. Throws. Look at how much HP he has off of 2 wrong guesses. Forward 4 neutral 2. Good block. Can he keep the pressure? He does a back 1. Heat burst. Intercepts King's heat burst. Runs into the armor face first. He lost that trade horribly. Sonic Fang. Uh-oh. Heat smash on the table. He counter hits whatever King was trying to do. Can he keep the pressure up? Can he kill? Get up kick into a guaranteed float from the King, but doesn't kill. Doesn't kill. Just one hit. The alley kick. Once again, we mentioned that the alley kick is evasive. It's a very effective move. What did Steve do? Back 1. The back 1 got alley kicked. Incredible play from both players, to be honest, but the John put on a masterclass here of King gameplay. Wrestling wins, but it's because of his expertise, especially his ability to play small moves around Steve's counter hits. There were so many situations where he's playing just small pokes, and Numan is falling behind in damage, right? Numan's falling behind in damage and has to make a play that makes him a bit more predictable, makes it easier for the John to find his armor. But the John isn't a brain dead steamroll player. If you look at the end of this game, he chills out completely. He tells Numan, you have to get the damage on me. Even though you have the health lead, you have to finish me. Pause. And look at how difficult it is for Steve to finish King. Right? Small pokes, but King doesn't care. It only takes 1 or 2 throws and Okazemi situations to catch up. So look at this. Look at the chill he has here. Nothing. Just Jaguar steps, waiting for a whiff. He has the flex armor as a threat. Has the regular back 3 armor, and look at how much damage he equalizes in this situation. Ground throw. Heals gray health, now he's ahead. Right? It doesn't take a lot for King to make his comeback. But you can't force your kills against King because of all of these. So the only way to beat King is to consistently beat him in the rock, paper, scissors between, is he going to play like he's hard to hit? Is he going to swing on a counter hit to try to find a counter hit? Or is he going to try to throw me? And all of these rock, paper, scissors situations, the Okazemi, the grab, are you going to hard read his grab with a duck? Or are you just going to count on your own breaks? Are you going to try to counter hit him? Or is he going to do some of this nonsense, right? The King always has a good answer that leads to you losing 30%, 40%, 50%. So it's very hard to fight against him. And Numan put up a great fight. But the John, with his specialist knowledge, came out on top. So I guess we have our initial answer. Even with the Steve buffs, wrestling wins. And many people debate that King is the better counter hit character than Steve. And if you watch this match, I think I'm inclined to agree. And it's not just because of the counter hits. It's how his whole kit supplements these counter hits, right? The fact that he can pressure your block better than Steve can, right? He has the throws, the partial strings, and the strong pokes. Steve only really has his pokes and his movement. Right? So the fact that he can pressure your block better makes his counter hits more effective because you have to respond. The fact that he has better armor and evasion makes it so you have to delay your timings. That makes you have to adjust in a way that makes you open to counter hits, right? Delaying your timings makes it easier for you to counter hit. All Steve has for those is offensive movement and some string pressure. So in my opinion, King is the better counter hit character, not just because of the counter hit tools, but because he's harder to hit and also applies pressure to blocks better, right? Not to mention that his 13-frame counter hit mid is better than Steve's 16-frame counter hit mid, both in tracking, safety, and pressure afterwards, right? Steve usually gives up his turn with down forward 2. King can threaten with mental frames. Down forward 2, what if I do the 1? You're respecting the 1, now I grab you. And finally, this Okazemi situation is so ugly, right? If you wake up wrong against King, he can grab you again, he can ground throw you, he can just mix you up. Steve gets, at best, a stomp mix-up or more pokes. right? And threatening counter hits off of those Okazemi situations. But the King can outright hit you for huge damage or grab you. So that summarizes why I think King is a better counter hit character. You didn't ask, but I thought it'd be a good way to wrap it up. If you enjoyed this kind of content, please leave a like, please leave a comment if you have any questions or if you think I missed something. And if you got nothing else to say, please leave an emoji. That helps me out a ton. Don't leave the eggplant emoji though, because that gets filtered out by YouTube. Right? I went through my like potentially offensive comments and a bunch of people just left eggplants. You got to pick a different emoji, right? I appreciate it, but you know, come on. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.